But we're going to begin with breaking news in Melbourne this Friday morning. One person has been killed in a shocking car crash at Laverton North. Live to Tegan Doling. Tegan, police are searching for answers.
Yeah, Nat, this is absolutely shocking. We're standing right here in the intersection as the MCRU detectives are still doing their work down there. Have a look at this scene. So that black ute, which has smashed into the pole, it is almost unrecognisable. It has landed on top of a second car. It's a Tiguan that is underneath it, as well as a silver Mitsubishi, which has also been caught up. So this happened at 10 o'clock last night here, Fitzgerald and Doherty Roads in Laverton North. What the MCRU understand has happened is that the Ranger was coming through the intersection when it has actually collided with the silver Mitsubishi. Where those yellow cones are is where this crash has occurred. Somebody has obviously run a red light. They both shouldn't have been in the intersection at that time. That Ranger has then smashed into the traffic pole. And sadly, that is how the backseat passenger has died on that impact of the crash into the pole. It has then landed on the Tiguan, on the driver that was sitting there waiting for the lights to change. This is a big operation this morning to try and work out exactly what has happened. This intersection, it is going to be closed down for some time. We can actually see, it looks like traffic management trying to turn all the big semi-trailers around or even try to get them through on the other side of the road down here as well. So really avoid this area this morning in Laverton North as we go throughout the peak. The driver of the Ranger, he's in hospital. Police yet to speak to him with serious conditions, and they're obviously not wanting to speak to the other drivers of the two other cars and have a look for some CCTV around here because there are a few businesses here too.
Yeah, they are horrific scenes. You're right there, Tegan, in Laverton North. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Here's Shervo.
To developing news, two Western Sydney nurses who bragged about killing Israeli patients have refused to be voluntarily interviewed by police. Let's go live to Liam Tapper in Bankstown. So, Liam, it comes as police gather fresh evidence, don't they, to charge the pair?
Yeah, Shervo, and there is a mountain of evidence for detectives to go through when it comes to laying charges against these two. There's a number of areas that they're bringing evidence in from, but largely it comes from Bankstown Hospital itself. They've got to go through thousands of patient records that the pair have treated in their time working at Bankstown Hospital, but they're also going to go over CCTV. Now, that's going to be hours and hours of CCTV to go through to see if there was anything inappropriate, there was anything untoward done against any patients by both Ahmed Nadir and Sarah Abdul Lebda in their time working at Bankstown Hospital. Of course, they gave that online confession of sorts where Nadir said that he would send those Israeli patients to hell, and also Abdul Lebda said that she would not treat those Israeli patients, and then that, in fact, she would kill them. The Israeli influencer, he said that he felt compelled that he had to record this and he had to share this to call this type of behaviour out.
They'll finally start taking actions. It's not the only case. I just recorded it, right?
Now, at this stage, just spoken with police, no charges have been made, even no arrests have been made, Shervo. The pair, they're yet to be questioned by police. So it's a big job that the police have on their hands because, of course, they want to get this right, given how much attention, not just here in Australia is on this case, but globally as well. They want to make sure this is a watertight case, so they're going to take their time. They've told me no charges yet have been laid.
Yeah, that's smart, isn't it? Thank you, Liam.
Let's get more news. Here's Mon.
Nat, thank you. Good morning. China's Foreign Affairs Ministry has lashed out at the federal government after a military jet released flares dangerously close to an Australian aircraft. Let's go live to Nick McCallum, who is in Canberra for us this morning. Nick, morning to you. So this comes as 3 Chinese warships were spotted off Australia's northeast coast.
That's right, Mon. At this stage, it's a case of duelling protests. Australia has launched an official protest against China. China says it has now launched a, quote, serious protest against Australia. It all happened on Tuesday over the South China Sea. A Chinese fighter jet, a J-16, fired flares at an Australian surveillance plane, a Poseidon. Now, the flares went within 30 metres of the Australian plane. Fortunately, no one was injured, but experts say if the flares had hit the engines, it could have been catastrophic for the crew aboard. Canberra complained to Beijing, saying it was unsafe and unprofessional. Beijing's response: Australia deliberately intruded into Chinese airspace and violated Chinese sovereignty. A spokesman said overnight what the Chinese jet did was legitimate, legal, professional and restrained. Let's have a listen.
未经中方允许
China has lodged a solemn protest with Australia demanding that Australia stop its infringement and provocation and stop undermining peace and stability in the South China Sea.
J16 was so close that there's no way you could have been able to ensure that the flares did not hit the P8.
All of this happened, but apparently was unrelated to the fact that 3 Chinese naval vessels are now skirting Australian territorial waters. One even went through the Torres Strait, just north of Australia. Now, that is legal under international law, but Australian ships are monitoring and shadowing those naval vessels. So it's a very tense security situation between Australia and China again, Mon.
Yes, it is. All right. Thanks very much, Nick McCallum, for us there in Canberra. Residents living in northwestern Australia are scrambling to safety this morning as an emergency warning is declared ahead of Cyclone Zelia's arrival. The Category 5 storm is expected to hit the state's Pilbara region between Port Hedland and Karratha later today. There is a significant threat to the lives of people who have decided to stay, with even cyclone veterans feeling worried.
Worried now. I wasn't before, but seeing everyone come to the shop, getting prepared, people leaving town, so it seems a bit hectic.
We have to stay here.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
And they say that when they call red code, that's it. We need to stay there.
The storm is forecast to bring destructive winds of more than 300 kilometres an hour, intense rainfall and possible flash flooding also expected. To breaking news, and Sydney commuters are being warned to brace for chaos on the city's rail network this morning. Talks on a pay deal between the Minns government and the rail union fell through last night. Union train drivers will run trains 23 kilometres below the usual speed, sparking warnings that commuters need to use extra travel time this morning. The latest union action to impact Sydney residents as the RTBU seeks a 32% pay rise across the next 4 years. A Melbourne organised crime figure and international drug boss is set to become a father while behind bars after his girlfriend revealed the shocking news on social media. Let's go live to Andrew McCormack now, who is in Melbourne. Now, Andrew, despite his imprisonment, we understand that the couple have been undergoing IVF treatment.
That's right, Mon. Dale David Williams, described as a career criminal. He's serving 16 years in a maximum security prison for trafficking almost 150 kilograms of meth into the country. And he is expecting now, with his partner, Keisha Lampy, posting her baby bump on social media. The pair undergoing IVF treatment. Now, it's unsure whether or not this was undertaken during his prison sentence or just before he was sentenced to that 16-year jail term. But he is described as a career criminal, a drug boss from the Frankston area. Police sources in the Herald Sun even describing him as a psychopath. He was jailed previously for assault on an ex-partner. But this issue of IVF treatment for prisoners has raised its head before. Last year, a female prisoner was granted leave from her jail cell to undergo IVF treatment. Now, she subsequently didn't go ahead with that treatment, but it certainly raised the eyebrows of several Victorians right across the state that prisoners are allowed to undergo this treatment while, of course, in prison under Victorian state government on our dime, essentially, Mon.
Yeah.